telling me. Yeah, what's going on here? Huh, crazy. That's crazy. My shorts is falling apart, people. Let me just say, easy money, easy money made me retire before 30. I've been going live every day since February. I'm in Suriname. I do this in the middle of the day. Oh, damn. You see that mark right there? It's because I accidentally bleached this shirt when I shouldn't have. Anyway, easy money made me retire before 30. And so I've been going live every day since February to show you guys just how much this is possible. I've been going at all times of the day, every weekday, 9 a.m. sometimes, 3 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Doesn't matter. My point is, I've been showing you guys this so that you guys can understand what it's like to make money, right? So that you guys can see that someone is actually out here traveling the world and not yet 30. And also, I get to answer questions and get to talk to you guys. Really, the overarching goal of this channel is that I want for this channel to start making money so that we can use the money from YouTube to fund additional scholarships for kids in Jamaica to send them to college. Right now, we have two, and I want to increase that number to four. So we've been really pushing the envelope on this and moving forward. So I'm really proud of the work that we're doing, and I'm really proud of everybody actually for tuning in every day. Every time I go live, you guys subscribe some more. So we're gonna go live today and talk about some stuff. Usually the first 2 minutes is just like an introduction, and the first person comes in. Maybe the first person is watching this right now and they're about to tune in. So we're gonna see them come in. This is how it usually works. And then when you guys come in, please tell me where you're watching from so that we can actually talk, have a conversation, and get to know each other a little bit. But yeah, right now it's almost midday where I am. And so yeah, let me let me button my shirt up. Did I button my shirt up? The Met Gala was what, 2 nights ago, 3 nights ago? And I would tell you the truth. As someone who's been traveling the world, I have no interest in the Met Gala whatsoever. And that's not me being funny about this stuff, you know what I'm saying? That's me actually telling you what it is. The Met Gala has no interest to me whatsoever. Because I feel like that kind of stuff is just a distraction. Like people want to find out, what this person wearing, and it's like none of that stuff matters. And people will spend the entire week talking about the Met Gala and hashtag. They'll spend hours on Twitter looking up hashtag and what this person said about this, and they want to know about all this beef. But you know what happened in the last month? The stock market went up by 10%. I didn't miss that, right? And if you miss that, that's a question that you have to answer for yourself. Why are you missing opportunities to make 10% in 1 month by doing nothing? People are talking about the Met Gala this, the Met Gala that. But really, I find that these things are just a distraction. So many people are distracted, man. So many people are distracted. I think that's the difference between rich and broke people, is that rich people just have a better understanding of where their attention needs to go. And so they're focused on stocks and money and wealth building and building businesses. And broke people, what do they focus on? They focus on the latest sneaker. They focus on gossip on social media. They focused on just things that don't matter. Tell me where you're watching from, by the way, when you come inside. Tell me where you're watching from. I want to get to know you guys. That's actually why I'm live. I am live. It's almost midday where I am. Tell me where you're watching from so that we can have a conversation, so we can get to know you guys. Live just started, so we're going to be here for a while. We're going to be chopping it up. We can talk about money. We can talk about traveling. We can talk about relationships too. But I want to get to know you guys. So tell me where you're watching from. Sometimes we have people in here from Egypt. We have people in here from Switzerland, from Uganda, from New Zealand, from Australia, from Jamaica, from Tobago one time. We had someone in here from Papua New Guinea. That was pretty cool. We have people obviously from the US, from Canada, from England. But where are you watching from? Because you might actually be the first person from where you're watching from right now. And if that is you, I want to give you a shout out. Hey, Sarah Rice, how you doing? Sarah Rice. Rice is a very interesting last name, let me just say. How you doing? How you doing, Sour Rice? It's actually funny because Rice is the name of that Arsenal player that took out Real Madrid, and I'm still upset about that. Yeah, I'm a football fan, and so Rice scored two free kicks out of nowhere, and Real Madrid just could not respond because that was actually crazy. If you haven't seen those two goals from Rice, you should definitely look at those two free kicks 'cause they were phenomenal. Yeah, that was crazy, man. And it was the same spot too. I think he put it in the right corner, right? It was the right corner, and it was two free kicks. One was like mid level, and then one was like top right corner. Absolutely crazy. So yeah, that was insane. Even if you don't watch football, you're gonna love that goal. So look it up. So Sarah Rice, good to see you. I am not an Arsenal fan. I'm a Real Madrid fan. So you and I probably have some beef, Sarah Rice, because your last name is Rice. We have some beef already. So I don't know. I know, Sarah, we might not be getting off on the best foot, but it's okay. Just here to mess about and have a good time. I'm just kidding, Sarah. You're welcome here. Don't let me stop you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Soccer, soccer, football, soccer. I got you. I got you. Tell me where you're watching from as you're joining. Oh, football. Lol. No, no, no. I'm talking about soccer, but the world calls it football. Only the US and I think parts of England call it soccer, right? But it's football. So yeah, football with your feet. I was actually injured at volleyball, so that's why I'm in slippers today. Usually I'm obviously in shoes. I go to the gym and stuff, but right now I have on slippers because I'm moving a bit slow. What country am I in, or what country am I from? What are you asking, Hot Sunday? Tell me where you're watching from so that I can actually get to know you guys. Sarah, where are you from? I appreciate you chatting with me. Where are you from? Because I'm going to guess that you're from the US because you're calling it soccer. I'm going to guess that, and I'm like 75% sure that I'm right. In or from? Okay, cool. So I'm from Jamaica. I'm traveling the world. I've been traveling for a couple of years now, just consistently. And I am in currently Suriname. I went to the Amazon jungle. That was very fun. Amazon rainforest. I spent a weekend there, and I've been here chilling since um January. So yeah, I can show you what my view is like right now. You can see that this is not a green screen. That's my view. There's another dude right there, just chilling out. That's my view of the Suriname Lake. Oops, oops, oops. Let's see if you can see what's on his phone. But that's my view right now. So yeah. Mm. So as I said, as you guys come in, please remember that we're trying to grow this channel for a reason. We're trying to grow this channel so that we can provide more scholarships to kids in Jamaica. Right now, we have two. They're funded out of my pocket. So that when you guys subscribe, we're actually trying to grow this channel so that we can get money from YouTube and give it to those kids in Jamaica. We have two right now, and we're trying to grow that to four. So every subscribe helps us to move one step closer. Suriname is how you pronounce it. Suriname. 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 Got you? Suriname. 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 Yeah, yeah, yeah. Suriname is a cool country. I don't sure if you know this, but 93% of the country is forest. So then you come here, the infrastructure is not going to be like New York, right? It's not going to be like London. It looks nothing like that. 93% of the country is forest, trees, right? Which means even when I went into the Amazon forest, the roads stop. So then to get further inland, you have to go through the rivers, and the rivers are connected, right? You can imagine you're on boats and you're just moving through the rivers, and you know where to turn left and you know where to turn right. The people who've been here all their life, they know these rivers like streets. They know the names of whatever, right? So to get deeper into the Amazon rainforest, you have to go by boat. You can't go by land. And so if you come in here expecting to get 5 star, I'm not saying you can't get that because it does happen here. Obviously, I'm at a hotel right now. However, once you leave the hotel, once you leave these nice pockets in Paramaribo, the rest of it is 93% forest. But if you love that and you want to explore nature, oh, it's beautiful, beautiful country. The air is really fresh. Right now I'm staring, as I said, over the water. It's awesome. Yes, I'm in South America. I've been traveling South America for a few years as well. So I've been to different countries. I've been here since January. As I said, going live every day, making sure that we're growing this YouTube channel. Because I said to you guys that my goal was to grow this to at least 1,000 subs. We have passed that. Crazy. And I'm going to keep going because once this starts to earn money, it doesn't right now. We're going to start using this money to give scholarships to kids in Jamaica. Hey, Kissim, how you doing? Long time no see, my friend. What's up? I love when we get to see my friends from across the world. How you doing, Kissim? What's happening? Of course, of course. Shout out to Kissim. Hot Sunday, why you deleting your messages? It's next to Guyana. Yes, it is next to Guyana. We are in South America. You know what's funny, man? Traveling teaches you a lot. Right now, one of my friends, I'll tell you a story. One of my friends right now, they're in Greece. No, they're in Greece with their girlfriend. So his name, let's call him Jay. So Jay is in Greece with his girlfriend. And one of the things that he called me to tell me, like he's been there for a couple of days now, and he called me to say, yo, the food is so much better here than in the US. People are so much more less focused on work than having a good time. People are going out for lunch. People are going out for drinks in the afternoon. People are trying to have a good time rather than just trying to get rich all the time, right? So then when they're in Greece, it's the way that you become successful in that society is not by becoming the CEO or having a penthouse. It's very different. The goal of society is to form meaningful relationships. You see what I'm saying? And so, I love talking to people from across the world because then you learn these things. And then obviously, it's one thing for me to talk about it to you, but it's another thing for you to see it. For example, in Argentina, there's a custom. Usually at around 4 or 5 o'clock, we go, usually around 4 or 5 o'clock, we have mate. Now, if you don't know what mate is mate leaves in a cup, and usually it's cold if it's in the summer, or it's hot if it's in the winter, right? So it depends. But um, yeah, usually it's hot actually, because it's hot water and you pour it onto the tea, and that makes the flavor really pop out. But this, all you do is that you sit down and you pass the cup to everybody and you talk about life. 5 o'clock, everybody come down, family, pour, you have, pour, you have, pour, you have. And that's a custom in Argentina. Most countries don't necessarily have that type of custom. I know in America we don't have that. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, you're from the Middle East. What's a custom that you guys have? Because I mean, even in the Middle East, I assume that family is so much more important to people from the Middle East than it is from the US, right? You see what I'm saying? And so then if you're thinking about how you can be successful, it's so if you don't travel, then you don't have another way of thinking about the world. And if you only stay in one place, then you're not really doing yourself justice, which is why I encourage everybody to travel so that you can see the world differently. So then what's it like from the Middle East? How important is family? I can tell you from Jamaica, family to Jamaicans is way more important to Jamaicans than it is to people from the US. For example, I remember I grew up with cousins in Jamaica. Like we'd have cousins, we'd have go to the park with cousins, we'd play football with cousins, we'd go to grandma's house during the summer, and all the cousins would be there. Just cousins. People from the US don't necessarily do that as much because it's not a part of their culture, right? Where in the US are you watching from? Sorry, not the US. Where in the Middle East are you watching from? See, I don't know if Kesim left us. Kesim probably left us. That's okay. Yeah, traveling is fun, man. My friend from my friend from the US who's now in Greece, he's having a great time. And I'm glad he's having a great time. I'm glad that he gets to travel because you only see these things once you travel. I'm telling you, if you can. And traveling is actually not as expensive as people think. Now, like for example, I started traveling in college when I started earning some money. And when I started traveling, my budget for each trip was only $500. I would travel for a week and I would spend $500. How I would do it is that I would look for an Airbnb. So I would travel in the US. The flight would be $40, right? I would look for an Airbnb that was like maybe $20. So for a week, that would be a hundred and something. And then I would eat and I would rent a car. All of that for $500. And then I would do that every 2 months, every month. That's it. And I would just travel to see something new. I would go to a new place. Oops, we fell down. I would travel just to go see something new. You see what I'm saying? I would travel just to see something new. And it's not that expensive. Versus, trips now for me can cost tens of thousands of dollars. But when I first started, it was just a couple of hundred. It doesn't need to cost that much. Doesn't need to cost that much. And also, if you go in by yourself, here's the thing. The reason why I think more people should travel by themselves is because you get to know who you are as a person. You feel what I'm saying? Put yes in the chat if you understand what I'm saying. And I saw someone like it just now, so you understand what I'm saying. Yo, what's up, man? Good to see you. You understand what I'm saying. If you travel by yourself, then you have to learn what you like. You have to learn the food that you like. You have to know how independent you can be. You have to be responsible for yourself. What time you're going out, where you're coming back home. You have to know how to get around with public transportation or how to rent a car, ask for directions. You become a bit more bolder in talking to people. Travel by yourself, man. I'm telling you, I've been traveling by myself. The first time I traveled would have been 6 years ago by myself. I'm telling you, it changed my life. The first place I traveled to by myself was New Orleans. New Orleans. Man, that place was phenomenal. Jazz music, phenomenal jazz music. I wasn't even 21 yet, but the culture of New Orleans is one where you can drink in the street. No one checks your ID, so you could just have a drink in the street. You could have beer, you could have Baileys. There's a drink in New Orleans called Hurricane. I would get this drink called Hurricane for $10. And it was like this big, right? You can see the size. It was like this big, right? $10. And it was like a jug. And I would have one Hurricane at around maybe 6, 7 o'clock. That would be it for me. I would get that and just sip that until 10 o'clock. And by the time the party ended at around 3 a.m., I'd be sober. I go to bed. I'm telling you, do that. I could do that because I wanted to experience traveling by myself. And I did my research before I went. I knew that I wanted to stay in a hostel because I wanted to be safe. I wanted to be around other people, etc., etc. And so you got to travel by yourself, man. Obviously, that was before COVID. And as I've traveled more and I've gotten more wise and, a little bit more money and also I wanted more comfort. I don't really stay in hostels as often. I tend to want to stay in my own space, have my own bathroom. That's very important to me. But if you're 19, 20, 21, start traveling, man. And if you can't afford it, even though you're 25 or 30, still start traveling and just do it cheaply. But don't make the excuse that you have to save more money, you have to earn more money to start traveling. It's the opposite way. Promise you, you're not going to regret traveling. It's one of those experiences, man, that just changes your perspective on the world. I also think that the more you travel, the less employable you become. Ultra, what you think about what I'm saying? Here's my point. Ultra, listen to what I'm saying. The more that you travel, the more that you value freedom, right? And as you value more and more freedom, the only thing that you want to really do is for people to not tell you what to do. That's the only thing that you value. You see what I'm saying, Ultra? The more that you travel, the more freedom that you have, You get to wake up without an alarm clock. You get to set your schedule. You get to determine where you're going on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then once you get a taste of that freedom, you can't go back to a boss telling you, hey, I'm going to need that report by Friday. Come on now. That doesn't make sense. I can't do that. I can't talk to you. I don't know what you're saying. You get me? Traveling is great, man. All right, who else is in here? Where are you guys watching from? Talk to me. Talk to me. Where you guys watching from? Let me see. Let me see who's in here. All right, we have Kesim. Kesim is in here. Ultra is in here. Hot Sunday. That's a great name, by the way. Is in here. Tell me where you're watching from. If you put your name in the chat, I will shout you out. But tell me where you're watching from because I like to know where people are watching from all over the world. We have someone in here from Egypt. This is pretty cool. Tell me where you're watching from so I can know where you guys are. Because sometimes we have people in here from halfway across the world. We have people from India in here. We have people from the US, from New Zealand, from Australia, from countries across the US. Sorry, countries across the Caribbean. We have people in here from all over. And it's very cool when I have people in here from Suriname. I think that's one of the coolest things because I'm currently in Suriname. It's very cool when I have people in the same country that I'm going live from. That's cool. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. I actually haven't been to the gym yet today. Tell me where you're watching from. Tell me where you're watching from. Who is in the chat, people? I haven't been to the gym yet today, but I want to go to the gym. And maybe half an hour. I go to the gym. The gym is a very big part of my lifestyle because I want to stay active and I want to stay fit, and I also want to be bigger. And I say that not because I want to be arbitrary, but because what it is, it's about the aesthetic and the type of person that I want to be. I want to commit to being that person. And I also want to be able to be 60 or 75, 80 years old, and I want to be able to run around with my grandkids. I want to be that type of person. Yeah, looking big is nice, but being able to play around with your grandkids when you're 80 is even better. And that's a bigger incentive for me. Obviously, I need to find kids first, and then obviously I need to find a wife first. But I'm working on that. Marriage today is not what it used to be. So I'm taking my time. Marriage today, the relationships today, man. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. Social media, I think, has absolutely ruined it for like 60 to 80% of people. I don't think they'll ever be happy in a relationship. 60 to 80% of people, I think social media has just ruined it for them. Because if you don't have a level of intelligence to think through things and separate reality from delusion, I don't think you stand a chance with being in long-term relationships. And sadly, most people don't have that. You have to understand most people haven't been to college and graduated with 4-year degrees. Most people don't have their masters. Most people don't read more than a book a year or 2 books a year. Most people aren't really that intellectual. So then if you don't have that mental space to really think through relationships, how are you going to be successful at them? You see what I'm saying? And maybe you think differently. Yeah, I mean, you can tell me if you want to. You can put this in the chat, but most people aren't ready for relationships. Most people would be surprised, I think, by how much books I read and podcasts I listen to and YouTube videos and people I talk to about relationships. I think about relationships a lot. And the reason I think about relationships a lot is because I don't want to mess up my relationships. You understand? I want to make sure that the relationships I'm building last more than 10 years because anything less than 10 years, I don't feel like gets me a big enough return. And what I mean by return is not financial, you understand? If I'm investing my time and energy into someone, I want them to make me continuously happier. I want to be able to pour back into them and see them evolve into a new person. I want to see them accomplish their goals. That's my problem with one night stands, actually. because one night stands, it's like it's high risk and low reward. You get, let's say have a good time, and you climax and you finish, and it's good. That we can talk about this. But then the reward, the risk is so high, you can get this girl pregnant, right? I know you're stuck with them for the rest of your life. It's not just 18 years, you're stuck with them for the rest of your life. That's a relationship that you're locked in, right? The risk of STDs, the risk of this person being an absolute nut job, the risk of them stealing from you while you fall asleep, the risk of them harming you. There's so much risk you don't consider. For me as a man with something to lose, I don't consider that to be worth it. And the reward is just to finish? No, that doesn't make sense. Versus if I'm in a long-term relationship, we can have laughs, we can have inside jokes. You can teach me things. I can introduce you to my people. You can introduce me to your people. You can help me to build a network. You can help me to build a business. You can help me to travel the world. You can help me to plan stuff. That makes so much more sense for me, right? A long-term relationship has so much more reward. Obviously, the risk of, you know, um, you know, losing half his stuff. Like, let's say you're a man, right? And you're thinking, oh, like, just wait until he loses half his stuff or she cheats on you or whatever. Okay, sure. But you know what actually happens? Most people don't go through that. Most people don't have enough assets to even lose half of. Most people don't own a house. Think about that. Most people don't have a house to lose in a divorce. So then what are you scared of? You don't own a house, what you're scared of a divorce. That doesn't make sense, right? And even if you don't want to get married, a long-term relationship still offers similar benefits. Okay, so don't get married. That's fine. Boyfriend and girlfriend, or be your partner for years. That's still what I'm saying. That is still a better reward system than one night stands or low cost relationships, short term relationships. There's no reward there. It's just too, I don't see that as very beneficial to me. You know, what I really want is, if I invest into something, I want to continuously invest in it and see benefits year after year after year. That's how you have a rich life, not financial, but in every aspect, right? I want to see that person get happier, and then their happiness makes me happier, and then my happiness makes them happier. You don't get that from one night stands. But most men aren't thinking that way. They're just thinking about a quick night, a quick nut. I think that's a very immature way to approach life. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you see it differently. You can tell me if you want to. You can tell me actually, put this in the chat. Would you get married? Let me put that question. Let me put that question up. Okay, let me see. Would you get married? I want this right here. Boom. This conversation has turned. That's fine. Would you get married? Would you ever get married? Yes, no, and why? That's the question. I don't think you need to get married to get the benefits of a long-term relationship. Because the reward of a long-term relationship is that you still get to see your partner flourish. They still get to teach you things. They still get to take you places. You still get returns on the happiness, the experiences that you had with that person too, right? Especially, for example, if you went through something negative, like really negative, and you both came out positively better because of it. Let's say you were both broke and then you got rich together. That's a really high benefit. That's a really common one that people understand. Both of you share that experience, and it makes it, the return on that experience is really high. Let's say crossing off bucket list things together, right? The both of you go skydiving for the first time together. The both of you go to Antarctica for the first time, or to Asia for the first time together. That's a very high return with your long-term partner. You don't get that with a one night stand. So then for the next 15, 20, 2, three, four, 5 decades. You get to talk about the first time that you guys went to Thailand together. The first time that you guys went racing on Nuremberg in Germany. You guys get to talk about so much, so much. That's what makes it awesome. That long-term return on investment. I think that's why married men, they make more and they're happier than single men without kids. Married men with kids are happier than single men without kids. And every study has shown this. The only people that are happier are single women without kids above 40. Those people, single women above 40 with no kids, they're the happiest demographic. And most studies show that too. But since I'm not a woman, I'm a man, so marriage, kids makes me richer, makes me happier. I'm ready for it. Would you get married is the question. If a marriage is broken today, that might be, you know, marriage today might be changing. That's the only thing. Let me see. We up here for over half an hour now, so we're gonna lock this off. And then I'm gonna get to the gym. I see that nice bird. Look at this. Oh, let me show you this bird before I leave. Oh, damn it, disappeared. Okay, if it comes back, I'll show it to you. Now we're about to close this off because oh, look at that bird. Those are nice. Oh, that's my view, by the way. People like to think that this is green screen, so I like to show it. Anyway, the bird isn't coming back. So I'm gonna go get to the gym. I hope you guys have a good day. I hope you guys enjoy the live. And as always, keep subscribing, keep watching. We've been growing very fast, so I appreciate you guys, every single one of you guys. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. You know, I see you guys, and I'm gonna keep showing up for you guys, for real, for real. All right, I'll see you guys. Take care. I will see you guys. Today's Friday. I'll see you guys on Monday. Cause we're gonna go live pretty much around the same time, sometime before midday. All right, peace out, people. We'll see.